All right. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Here we go. Like I said, I'm gonna try to hit this Monday through Friday, possibly Saturday. And for the record, remember, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a preacher, I'm not a teacher, ain't no pope, ain't no church representative. Nope. I'm just a brother who's trying to be a man of God, who reads the word daily and is just sharing with you how it ministers to me. It's not interpretation. All right. It's just some insight on the stuff I think about, and it turns out it ministers to people. So it is what it is. Right now we're in Genesis 4 and at verses 17 to 26. And it's interesting right here because it's showing how Cain, of course, had children. 4 generations down, Lamech is born. Now, I don't know how many hundreds of years has passed by. I haven't done the homework on that. But Lamech has 2 wives, Adah and Zillah. All right. Adah has 2 sons named Jubal, Jabal, and Jubal, Jubal. It's interesting. Whenever we run into genealogies in the Bible, I encourage you, don't just run through them. These names mean something. And then when they mention females, which is a rarity, because normally they follow the bloodline of males, because men are the thing. It's just due to headship, blah, blah, blah. I like when they throw a female in there because for some reason that female has significance due to either her position, a title, or who she births. You see what I'm saying? So Jubal is the first one to raise livestock and live in tents, which gets me thinking, why would they put that there? He's the first out of the descendants of Cain, 4 generations down, to live in tents. So where were they living, fool? Under a rock? Maybe a cave. Hence, cavemen. Just throwing it out there. Don't shoot me. It's just train of thought. For them to specify, they were the first from 4 generations from Cain, the curse, all the way to Lamech, that they finally lived in tents and had livestock, raised livestock. What were they doing before? Again, my opinion, cave dwellers. My opinion. Number 2, Jubal is the first to play harp and flute. When I hear stuff like this, these are people who were of the curse. They have no knowledge of anything. These are things that have to be taught. I have a lot of questions about that, but this is why I'm not a pastor. I'd probably just turn off a lot of people. Let's move forward real quick. Then we have Zillah. And Zillah, which is Lamech's second wife, she had a son named Tubal Cain. And it says here that Tubal Cain was an expert in forging tools and bronze, and tools of bronze and iron. Again, here's where it's, these are things that have to be taught. You don't just wake up one day and, I'm coming out of a cave. We're eating some meat now, and I'm going to make me a knife. I'm going to make me blah, blah, a hammer. How do you know where to get that from? In my opinion, the sons of men, the angels, started to visit women. Because you're going to see it in chapter 6. Once you get past chapter 5, chapter 5 is all about genealogies and the years men were born and how long they lived. And chapter 6 talks about the world gone wrong, which leads me to believe that these angels would leave their post in heaven and visit women. Because it shows in the next couple of chapters how the angels came down to marry women and laid with them and had sons that were giants and all this. We'll get to that soon. But somehow these Lamech's children, Tubal Cain and Jubal, gained this knowledge. Again, kind of food for thought for me. I like thinking about stuff like that. Now remember, this does not deviate from salvation. This does not deviate from Christ died on the cross for my sins. If anyone teaches anything else besides Jesus Christ crucified, turn from that. Okay, that's why I'm not a pastor. I'm not teaching about that, but this does not deviate from, the cross. These are just, this is how I chew on stuff in the morning. So we have here the sons of Cain, 4 generations down, are being taught something, and they're beginning to live a certain lifestyle. Now they're out in the fields, in tents, coexisting in the community. And then they have instruments now that they can play. And notice it doesn't say they use them to worship. It just said they had instruments. They played these instruments. So obviously they made music, but to glorify who or what? And then we have Tubal Cain, who was the one that started making tools, possibly weapons. How did he know to heat up some rock? You know. Anyway, then we got in verse 25, it says Adam and Eve had sex again, and they gave birth to Seth. Now, Seth had a son named Enosh, and Enosh, it says here, they were the first generation of people, 2 generations down from Adam. They were the first to worship and call on God by name. 2 generations. They began to worship Yahweh, you know, and they began to call on him. Yeah, I said that, call and worship him. It's just interesting to me how you got these group of men on Cain's side who had instruments and they didn't use it to worship, but now you got people on Cain's side, Adam's side, 2 generations down, that they're worshiping the Lord. As I chew on this, man, there's so much I want to say, but I don't want to ruffle feathers, you know. You know what? I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna stop there, brothers and sisters. Forgive me. I'm gonna touch up more on this, God willing, tomorrow or Monday. But quick recap on yesterday. As we spoke on Cain's curse, how God cursed him. Said, hey, you know what? From here on out, your job is going to be unfruitful, uneventful. It's just you're going to toil the rest of your life. It's not going to be. You're not going to bear good fruit. Number one. Number two. You know what? He's like, I'm going to remove you from this place. You're no longer welcome in this area. You got to move. Number three, you're removed from my presence. And that just ministers to me on yesterday that I forgot to share with you. It's like, it doesn't matter, brothers and sisters, if your job sucks. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you lose your house. What does matter is if you are removed from the presence of God. And Cain knew that. He said, this made it unbearable. Like, man, it's just one thing after another. He's like, then I must leave your presence. I have a family member that recently lost their house, burned down. And I'm just so proud of them they're going through it. But they know who to turn to. They know who to trust. And they're trusting the process. And God is blessing them in abundance. They lost their home. But they're still in the presence of God. Hence, they're so blessed. A lot of people are wondering, man, how are they doing this? It's because of Him. It's because their eyes are on Jesus still. They don't get their eyes off of Jesus. And if they do, it's to cry for a moment, which is good. And then they get back on the ball and they worship God because they understand that this is of God. What happened here with Cain, it's unbearable. And again, it doesn't matter if you lose your house or if your job's no good, you're just working hard. What does matter is if you are removed from the presence of God. That's the unbearable curse right there. Brothers and sisters, much love to you all. Peace be with you. May the joy, Lord, be your strength. And remember, choose wisdom over the world. God bless.